Hey there, welcome everybody. Glad to have you back in the studio for another episode of the Paint Party live stream. This is my Learn to Paint journey. Several years ago, I started teaching myself to paint, primarily using YouTube tutorials. And at the beginning of last year, I started switching from acrylics to oil paint. So over the last year, I've been exploring oil paint and learning a new medium. I meet every Monday night here on YouTube, and this is syndicated across a variety of platforms. So you may find me on Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook. Wherever you find me, you can participate in the live stream via the comments on whatever platform you're on. So I enjoy interacting with you. Feel free to ask questions, make comments, anything you'd like as we go through the evening. I always enjoy engaging with you, so you can do that through the comments wherever you are watching. I hope that wherever you are, it has been a great weekend and a great day, new start to the week. Here in the mountains, it is another Arctic blast. It's really, really cold. I think the high today was 7 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 15 degrees, negative 15 degrees centigrade. So it's really, really cold. My fingers are freezing, so I got to get them moving this evening. I did turn on the heater here in my studio, so should be warming up in the next few minutes. All right, so glad to have you. Let's jump right in this evening. I'm going to show you what I've been working on. Over the last few weeks, we've been trying to clear out my studio of paintings that we worked on in previous live streams. And so I did finish quite a few of those. My drying space is all full of paintings. And so those are pretty much cleared off. I had about 12 or 15 here. And they are pretty much all cleared off. I wanted to show you some of those that we've worked on. You have seen this painting before. This is the Plaza in Mayagüez, Puerto Rico. I've been working on this painting. We did this several times. This painting is pretty much done to the extent that I'm going to work on it at this level of my skill. I had to rework the clouds, so you can see I redid that. I'm really happy with the texture we got in the clouds. I did rework the the sky, the clouds, and then this statue. I'm still not 100% pleased with the statue, but she renders how she is. So I think it's a pretty good, it's a pretty good little painting for my level of skill right now. I'm not going to keep messing with it too much. I just noticed I need to go back and put the crosses on the church. So this is not quite done. We're going to let her, it's going to dry there. But yeah, that one's pretty much done. And then last week we had worked on this one of the Badlands. I did another 1 or 2 sessions with this. Again, I think it's about at the level of my skill right now, and I'm okay with that. I'm pleased with it. I don't know what I would do to change it. So that's kind of how I make that decision. But it renders, you can tell what it is, you can tell kind of the layout. The main thing that's challenging with this is the values of the rock formations that are closer and further away, getting those to render. Things that are in the shadows and light, getting it correct, getting the colors correct is a real challenge. So this is something that I'll keep working on because I want to do more painting of the canyons in my area, and this is the type of landscape you're likely to see. But this one, to the extent of my skill right now, is done. So we'll let that continue to dry. Welcome to those of you just popping in. I'm seeing more and more. So glad to have you. I'm just kind of showing some of these paintings that we've been working on. And then the ones from right around here, there's 3 or 4 of these. This is Bear Butte. This is right outside Sturgis near where I live. And so we worked on that one. That one is done and drying. I'm really happy with the variety of greens. This is also Bare Butte, a little bit closer from the treetops. Happy with how these little paintings turned out. And the last one, is this one from Spearfish Trail. I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. It was just such a peaceful day. It's about a 6-mile hike, so it was a great hike with my friend Debbie, but it was really fun to do this little painting. So those ones will all be drying over here, and then I will varnish them once it gets warm enough to varnish outdoors, because the varnish is really bad smelling. So yeah, great to have you. So I need your help, those of you who are online. We are going to continue. I mentioned most of the paintings that I had sitting to the side are cleared out. I finished most of those. Now I have a whole pile of paintings that were on my floor that were old acrylic paintings that I kind of want to finish up in oil or do another layer in oil. And I would love your help to choose what we work on tonight. So there are a few of you watching. You can participate in the live stream via the comments, so feel free to chime in. I'll go through several paintings. I have a bunch of them laying here, but what would you like to see me work on? And I have a little bit of a delay. I think it's about a 30-second delay, so I'll kind of try to talk and waste some time, but you'll hear this in 30 seconds and etc. We'll just keep going. But okay, the first one to consider are these irises. I'm not sure, the background may be a little dark. I'm just not happy with how this turned out. So we could work on the irises. That's one. Irises. Here's another one I did several layers of, or versions of. I don't know if I want to go back to this, but it's an option. It's almost done, I think. So this is kind of I don't know, maybe a hayfield or something. And I changed the lighting because this was taken during the daylight. And so I put it kind of in dusk. So that's another option. This is a bigger one, but we could work on that. Another one is this sunset on the water. There's not a lot to do on this. I might, if I were doing, push some of the values just to emphasize this, but I'm pretty happy. The composition is pretty. This is pretty. So that's one that's almost done as well. So we have those that are almost done. Here are some that aren't almost done. This just has an underpainting, Rooftops of Lisbon. So we could work some more on this. I don't know if this is actually good enough a painting. I mean, it's kind of big for the painting that it is, but we could work on that if y'all are interested in this. This is another challenging one. I tried to change this to a sunset and kind of messed up the mountains, so we could go back and try to salvage this a little bit, but it would take a little bit more work. That's another one. I may be giving you too many choices, but pick your favorite or one you'd like to see work. This is Tulips. Again, it's pretty much done. We might be able to tweak it a little bit to make it more vibrant, but it's a nice little painting. It's just really big. I probably shouldn't have done it on such a large canvas board, and I learned that all my blank ones are 5x7s, 8x10s, and a few, I think 5x7s, 7x9s, but yeah, I kept them all small. Here's a winter scene. I think could do a lot with this. I was just trying to learn how to paint snow when I started this, so might be able to do that. And then there's a mountain scene with a road. The road is not quite right, and I'm not sure how to fix it, but I think this one could be a cool painting if I worked on that. So what are your favorites? Feel free to chime in the comments here. Again, the mountain scene, I will kind of go through them again to give you guys a chance to get through the delay. But please chime in the comments if you are watching on your device where you can enter comments wherever you're watching. You can participate. The winter scene, what would you like to work on tonight? I'd rather have your input. I'll just pick one if not. Tulips. Please chime in. Sunset canyons, kind of. Sunset Canyon. The roofs of Lisbon. Roofs of Lisbon. Rooftops of Lisbon. I can't remember what this building is. I think it's a cathedral. I think. I need to go back and review. Sunset and dock. The sunset and dock on the water. And sunset over the field. I think there's some things I could do there. And the irises. What would you like me to work on? Please, I'm going to turn around the camera, get this all set up, but please chime in as we do this. I'll switch. Oops. We'll switch to... Oh, I am out of focus. It is not wanting to focus on my face. I'm sorry about that. Maybe if I get closer, it will focus. There we go. Does it see me? It's still not wanting to focus. All right. Well, I'll let it be out of focus. I'm going to switch this camera around and set it up while you all hopefully will give me some feedback in the comments. Everyone's so quiet tonight. I can't see who is watching. I can just see there are a few of you popping in and popping out. So that's all I get. Okay. Let's see. Set this up a little bit. Everyone's so quiet tonight. Nobody's chiming in. No opinions. That's all right. I will pick if y'all don't. Let me come back over here. Set up my... Oh, whoops. This is my palette, so you can see that. I don't know why this is not focusing. There, kind of. It is really not wanting to play tonight. That's okay. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Welcome. A few more people popping in. I was just asking for suggestions of what painting to work on, and nobody's chiming in. Everyone's quiet tonight, so I'll probably just pick one then. And you guys will get what I want to work on. That's all right. Glad to have you. Thanks for joining. It is so cold. My heater's going, but it feels my little hands are cold. All right. Let's see. Let me look at these again and see what I want to work on. Maybe that one. I don't think I want to do Rooftops of Lisbon. Sorry, I have my back to you. I don't think I want to work on those. Okay. Here are the 3 choices, again, that I narrowed it down that I want to work on. The snow scene. And I know there's kind of a delay, so the snow scene. Whoops. The mountain road. Mountain road. Would you like me to work on mountain road, snow scene, or sunset on the water? Sunset on the water. And I will see, what would you like me to work on tonight? If you have an opinion one way or another. Any opinion. And I'm gonna chime in on the comments wherever you're watching, and we will see what we can do. Snow scene, water, sunset on the water. Feel free to drop your opinion, what you would like me to work on. Okay, let's see. We also have to see, make sure I have them. Snow scene, there's the water one. Let's see. Snow scene. I think we may be stuck because I don't see. Oh, there's the mountain. Huh. I think let's try to work on the, is the snow, I wonder, the snow one. I don't find the snow. I think we're going to do the mountain. I think we'll do the mountain because I don't see the snow. Okay. Yeah, let's do the mountain. Mountain, 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 where are you? It was just here. There it is. Okay, so I am going to download this and bring it over onto your screen so that you can see it. And I'm going to put it on my over here. Okay. It'll probably drag it on really huge. Oh no, didn't. There we are. Here, this is the reference I used. So we'll see if we can work on that. All right, here. Then I'll put that here and back you up. And you'll be kind of looking at this from the side. So because it's such a big, such a huge canvas, that's one thing that okay. Now let me go back and do there. Okay. Again, welcome to those of you that are joining us just now. You can participate in the live stream wherever you are watching via the comments on your platform. So feel free to say hello and make a comment, ask questions. Always enjoy interacting with you. So excuse me while I... Okay. Now, I think that's pretty good. You can see most of the painting, all of the painting. There we go. You are looking at it kind of from over my right shoulder, so the proportions are, well, maybe I can turn it a little bit. There we go. That might be a little better for you all. Okay, again, these are paintings that I did over a year ago. Hopefully I have gained some skill. I know I've gained some skill. And so hopefully we can take the... Hello there. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. So good to see you. Okay, now we can bring in some of this. This is acrylic, and I'll be putting oil over acrylic. You never want to go acrylic over oil, but we can do an acrylic base with oil. Oh, I just realized, my goodness. This has been sitting for a few years. It is dusty, so let's dust it off first because we obviously don't want dust in our paint. My goodness. I guess I should have paid attention to that first. But, okay. When I first did this, my goal was to try to work on composition. And so, that is why we have the, I'm going to take this out, put it like this, and drop this here to hold. That is why we have the, I don't know why isn't that, there it goes. That's why we have this road going this way as opposed to straight into the mountains. But I think, anyway, we'll just see. And I think I want to start at the back. Actually, I don't like that because it casts that. Unless I can bring this over, maybe that will help. There we go. And I can do the sky. So let's do that. Let's work on this sky a little bit. I'm going to take, because this is such a big, canvas. We'll take my biggest brushes. And let's see. We want to come in with kind of that bluish, but we do want the... We do want some cerulean blue. That's going to be our sky blue. This is kind of a cooler blue. Now the thing we have to consider is, do we want to change any of the colors? I'd honestly love to do kind of a sunset, but I'm not sure exactly how to do that, so I don't want to get too crazy different than the reference photo. We'll take some white. Okay. I'm mixing, trying to mix something that is kind of that distant. I think I need some more brown in here to dull out the blue because we need it more gray. It's a little too saturated. So we'll take some gray in there. Okay. Now let's see if we can take some white, desaturate this quite a bit. See if that's pretty close, my goodness. Okay, since this is oil, we really want to bring in, and we want the contrast around these mountains really pretty, want some pretty good lines. So there we go. And this one, I want to take this straight across. I'll probably have to come back and do trees over the top of this because I don't think we can put. Now, as we go up, we want a little more white and we want it to be more gray, so we'll bring in some more brown. We want to bring in these clouds to go behind the it's like a distant kind of thunder storm coming in. That's kind of the feeling we want. At least that's what I want. Wonder actually, I'm not sure. I can't picture, like, I wonder if we could put what it would look like if we put actually dark, you know, like a dark storm coming in the distance, and then this was bright in the sunlight. Let's see what that would do. I don't know. It may ruin it. This is where I really needed to, it would have helped if I took this into not Photoshop, but Procreate, and did some more did some skies in digitally over this, some sketches basically, because I don't know, it'd be really cool if there were like dramatic storms like out in the distance. I don't know what that would look like. This is the fun part of painting, though, to me, is like figuring out these things and like having an idea and saying, oh, I wonder what would happen if. Actually, I think we have to be a little bit more, ooh. I'm just playing around to see what happens if we make this really dark. It may be too hard to get it as dark as we want now, because we have so many layers and we're working wet into wet, but it's a way to play, kind of see. I don't know that is, I may have to still take this into Procreate and mess around with it in a, because I think it's not at all doing what I want to do. So we may just have to let that be. But now we know that's not, it didn't do what we wanted it to. But it'd be cool. I really just need to go look at some references to see what I can, what I can do. Okay, let's take this, a little bit of this up into here. We want to come, I'm going to take this up so I can look at it, the whole thing. Okay, let's take some of this. Maybe lighten it up a little bit. I like the little bit more blue though, not as much gray. If we had a little bit of, what if we made it a little purplish? A little, warm it up a little bit. I'm putting basically the shadow, like shape the shadow of this cloud shape in, trying to. If that makes sense. We'll bring shadows over here, and then I want to bring a real blue, kind of grayish blue, maybe some of this. And over. Like that. I was just trying to clear a little bit of this out, but I don't think I can since it's wet. So we'll just leave it. Okay, now let's see. I need some, let's see, if I can do some, what color is this blue? I guess it's kind of that cerulean, a little bit. Mix it into this a little bit. Okay, want to take this, we want, that's a little too green, I think. Maybe also too dark. I want to bring some of that blue sky up into here and disappear into the clouds. Let's see. This is same thing here. Okay. Now, so we have some sky showing through, and we need now some little bit of clouds. So see if we can go in. We have kind of these. Now, I wonder if we can go in and do I want to go in with the white and a little bit of tiny bit of yellow ochre, a tiny bit of burnt umber, we'll start putting these cloud shapes in with our shadows. There. That should give us something to work with. We'll just bring this all the way across. Then we'll have some pretty good I'm just trying to create a shape here of that I can build on. Something that makes sense. This sky was pretty messed up. Try to get rid of all these sharp edges so that it blends. Bring some clouds down into here, some sky up. Now we need to see, because right now it looks like, so we need to bring some of these colors, these darker colors, back in to give some shape to some of these. Areas. And then clouds have never been my forte. But once this dries, then I can maybe come back and give it like actual shape. So hard to figure this out. This is a pretty firm brush, so it's probably not the ideal one to be doing this with. Probably need a think the hardest thing with these kind of clouds is your value range is so tight, meaning the lights and darks. And that is something that I am not super prolific with. So like getting like these subtle lights against the darks and then shifting this value like just enough to really stand out is a challenge. But clearly you can see just doing a little bit of a lighter edge along here helps this to pop out even more. It's like, oh, that's what's happening. We need a little bit of warmth in here though. Might need even more. The thing is, as it gets, if it works, then it really starts to your clouds not only look more realistic, but they have a lot more form to them because you get these little kind of layers in them. Okay, so now I'm going to take kind of this brown tinged light, take it up against this blue. We're bringing kind of a, we need a more, actually a little more, a darker, you can kind of see what I'm trying to do. Now we go back to again, this value is so sensitive. Let's take this. See, this is oh, rats. Oh. Now, so you're seeing a little bit of, I mean, you're getting glare, so I apologize for that. But now we're starting to see, all of a sudden, these are jumping out just because of what we put around them. Then there's all these Basically, I'm just going back and forth between light and dark and putting in variations of, or variances of, the dark and light. Again, that gives you the feeling of multi-layers of clouds, because the dark up here is the light down here. That makes sense. Because if you think about what's happening in any cloud formation, the sunlight is, even if it's a cloudy day, is catching areas of the cloud that are more pronounced, and that's where you see your highlights. And then where you don't, that's your, where your highlights aren't, that's where there are shadows. Other clouds are in front of each other, or there is some part that is able to catch the light in a different way. So that's why you have all these variations. And if you don't get those variations correct, the clouds look very one-dimensional, like you just drew like this whole cloud, which is what we're doing, but we have to make it look like we're not doing that, if that makes sense. We are drawing a cloud formation that is all one piece, essentially, because it's it's all one shape. But I want this to look like it's in front of this, to look like it's in front of this, even though they're the same shape, basically. So in order to do that, I have to kind of play with the values. Again, that's what makes it fun, challenging, and interesting. But just by adding some shadows within the shape, you start to see different parts of the cloud that appear in front of each other. And then within the cloud shape, you want shape. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what we're trying to do. Hey there. Thanks so much for popping in. Appreciate it. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if we can. this is by taking this up into here, then we can give some roundness to the bottom of the cloud. We want to take some of this. We want to go into this, under this cloud, and give it an outline. right. Do. I think we dropped. I think we dropped. Hopefully you all are still there. All right. Think we're back. I don't know if I'm getting where I want to be on this. These clouds look okay, but they're not super compelling, if that makes sense. But the original ones were not terribly compelling, so it's hard to say. The original ones being those in the reference photo, but perhaps we can improve them. That would be nice. If we could get them more interesting, or I don't know if we need to do This just looks like cluttered mess to me. But let us see. Could be also just because of the light. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I need better lights. I've been saying that for a while now. And a while being several years. I wonder if we could, what would happen if we did this? I'm taking kind of this orange yellow underpainting and putting it here on the edge of this cloud because I'm wondering what would happen if we gave some of these clouds this color instead of making it all gray. Ooh. What if we had some what if it was a sunset, kind of? What if we did much more intense over here? Number one, it'll be prettier because the blue and the orange will complement each other on the color wheel. unless we get into the blue too much and then we get green mud. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Might as well play. I think it'll give us much more dramatic scene, and it really will draw our eye here, which is what I wanted the focal point to be anyway. Just putting that hint of orange, it's super diluted. Now I'm going to put some orange actually on my, on my palette. Everyone's so quiet again. If anybody that's in the audience, if you're watching, could you drop a comment in the comments? Because I went down, my live stream went down. I don't know if it just started another live stream or if it continued on the same stream, so I can't, it looks like there are people watching, but I can't really tell. I'm going to take this orange direct in here without diluting it. Red, what other color do I want? Orange and maybe nobody's here watching me, I don't know. I think we got found by the YouTube bots, so that's what I was trying to block, a bunch of bots, and I think my stream went down for a minute. Hey cousin, thanks for saying hi. So we are live. This is good to know. All right, I have orange, and so I'm going to take some of this orange into here. See if we can intensify some of this color. See what it looks like. The trouble is orange is so translucent that we need something to kind of to put on to help it really if it starts, that's our first, if we can get some good base color in. It'll help us know if we're going the right direction. There we go. I'm putting wet on wet. Perfect, perfect. Thank you. So it's diluted, but again, if I can tell, okay, I'm going the right direction, then I can come back once it's dry and put some dry in to carry the Thank you, thank you. I think we'll get it. This is if I can get this, and then we just want some spots where it's the same concept, even though we've added some orange here. You have your, these will get more and more again, there are spots that are more where the sun is hitting these. That's where we're getting that. Now I want to take some of this yellow. Whoops, I need to get this orange out of the brush. Not out completely, but I want to switch more to this yellow. So the yellow, now we take in here, we blend that into the orange, hopefully. A little bit of yellow. We can bring it, it's still pretty orange, huh? This is where we may get the, if we take too much yellow in, we'll get the green, which I don't want. So I have to make sure I don't take it down into the blue too much. But if I can do yellow, might not work again because we're on wet on wet. So yeah, that just washes it out. So wonder if we can go. What happens if we take this? Hey there, Nate. Thanks for popping in. How are you guys? Hope you're well. Here you're getting some pretty nice weather in Little Rock. Well, nice compared to us. We got another Arctic blast today, so it is not very nice here. Okay, I'm going to have to work on this because it's kind of going from okay to worse. So I don't want to mess with it too much. I think I'm going to let this dry. Because I'm not sure exactly what to do with this, but I think I need to come back with dry paint and do some of this. Instead of mixing in it's my guess. That's my guess of what I need to do. I'm just messing with colors right now because I can. And I'm going to paint over this probably, so. But I'm trying to learn some things. Okay, this is... Now, what if we go super intense, like Mark Maggiore? It will be in the 80s this weekend in Little Rock, but we usually pay for that the following week. Hey, thanks. Yeah, it's been about almost 4 years now painting, but this is my starting my second year in oils, so I'm still learning. Yeah, it will not be in the 80s in Little Rock or in Leeds, South Dakota. Our high today was 7 degrees, so it was rough. Although it's supposed to jump right back up into, I think, 17 tomorrow or 11 or something. But we did have 50s, like in 50 degrees the last few days. So for us, that's warm. And so we got a little break, which was nice. Lordy is right. But we're also like basically, I call us South Canada, so it's basically expected, I guess. The thing is, we don't get the humidity that you guys have in your air, even in the cold. So, and we don't get wind often. So it is, you know, when it's 50, I can be outside easily. Because there's no humidity in the air, so it doesn't feel like that cold that's going to go into your bones. So I don't know, this is kind of a purplish color. I don't know that that's going to work, but can always paint over it. I'm just exploring now, but this, whatever I put on is mixing with what is there, so that's kind of hard. So it just becomes this kind of peach thing. So just playing with color to try to learn some things. Okay, I'm not gonna, that's a mess. So, and we're almost coming to the end of our live stream, so I'm gonna see what I can do with these things. Taking this color, this kind of peachy color down here, we can actually go in on this mountain. So put the sunshine on here. Neat scene. Where is this? Speaking of temps, record 77, it'll be 80 over the next 2 weeks. It'll bounce around. Jealous. I don't know, actually. This is a painting that I started over a year ago when this was in acrylic, and I was just using references from my online Facebook group, so I don't know actually where it is. So, yeah, unfortunately. There. Now we can do, I think, a little of this red here, a maroon as the and I'm taking kind of liberties with this. The colors, because obviously these aren't maroon and orange colors, but I'm doing maroon as the shadow colors on this side, and then maroon on here where it's a little more shaded is my kind of sunny peak, because it's kind of in the on the shady side, and it's a little less what would we call it? A little less saturated. And then when we get really over here, on this side will be our purples and blues tones, so that we get see how that works. You can use your this is something I'm just learning right now, and I don't have to desaturate my this way I can use color to suggest these various There. Now, let's see if we can test our hypothesis. And let's do kind of our blues and purples. Okay, now we can take our this side I think this is a little bit we need this a little blue, a little cooler. It's a little warm. So this is kind of fun, just playing with all these colors. I am way over time, so those of you that gotta go, I totally understand it, but I'm having fun, so I'm gonna keep playing around for a little bit. Thanks so much, Nate. It was great to see ya. Say hi to Hal, and hope you guys have a good week. Notice by putting the purple around there, now this looks white, even though it's like a pinkish gray. Thanks, Bob. I think this is the way to go, putting the blues and purples on this side of the mountain, on the shadow side, and then the warmer colors on the other side. It's amazing. I'm not doing anything with color really. It's all the values of light to dark. If we put this in black and white, you'd be able to see exactly what's happening here. And these, then all we have to do is come back, take that purple out, and notice as we get further away from the light source, the highlights are the lowlights over here. This shadow is the highlight over here. The reason is because our eye perceives colors to drop out. Reds and yellows and oranges drop out before, and reds, and then greens, and then blues. So out here, if this is the highlight, what we can do is take this and put a little bit more blue. We can take this maroon, so we almost have a brown color, and that will be our highlight out here, is this brown, kind of maroonish brown. And that way you'll be able to tell that these mountains are behind these ones. Notice how it automatically sits the mountain backwards from here by diffusing that brown. Now this brown is kind of the highlight or the low light there. So yeah, it's about temperature and value in this case. And by knowing that, it allows me to do a much more, not realistic, because this isn't realism really. Obviously the photo you look at and it is almost as light as this back here, but by knowing this, now I can play around a little bit. So if I want to do this, now what I want to do is adjust this blue a little bit. So I wonder if I can bring some blue. Wonder if the light blue will bring us up to where we want to be. What I'm trying to learn is, oh man, lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. Why is it this? Ooh, gross. What I'm trying to learn is what colors can I mix to lighten the value without desaturating the color. So can I mix orange or yellow into red? Obviously get orange. Can I do orange, and then this, can I do light blue? Maybe this might make it green, but into purple, into blue, and give me a lighter blue, because over here I want to lighten this up a little bit. This purple, it's so close here. And then these mountains, I do want almost a greenish color in the shade down here. Almost too turquoise though, I think. What this should do for us is it should then give us a painting that is well diversified, but also, hey Caitlin, thank you so much. And congrats, I didn't get a chance to say in person congrats on your engagement. But I'm super happy for you guys. What date did you choose? I assume this summer sometime. I would love to get back to Omaha if I can to celebrate with you. Super, super happy for you. Take a little blue into, or the orange into the blue, then I get a less intense color. But I don't know, I'm kind of liking this. I might play with this a little bit to see what I can create. And by keeping this one a little more green, it sets these further back because green falls out to our eyes before blue does. That is why, yeah, once you kind of learn those things, then we can figure out how to set these back into And notice how now we have all these cool colors and shapes and whatever. Then I just mixed a little yellow ochre into this color so that I can give little subtle highlight spots into this near, or suggestion into this near mountain here. There we go. Isn't that cool? I really love this right here. It looks very cool. Probably should have done. I think this is too intense for that side of the mountain. We need more just brown kind of. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, so much, so much. Yeah, we want. And along these ridges. Okay, I think that is good for now. kind of that gray. Oops. We want to the gray white is our It's crazy because look how gray this is down here, and then you get it up here and it looks white, which is insane. But you do the gray and then it gives you, then you can tell it's in the shadows. I'm putting these marks in now so that when I come back and it's dried, then I can know where the snow is lays. It's a foundation, and then I basically just have to come in and highlight on top of it. There we go. It'll just give us some interest. There we go. Okay. I think that's good for now. Good for now. Yeah, then we'll have to come back and figure out what to do with the clouds. It might be better to go back to gray just because they are... Hey there, Shirley. Thanks for popping in. I think I made this a little too stark. It's more gradual, but I don't think it's terrible. Thank you so much. I'll have to see, again, I'm not sure what I'll do with these clouds because I don't want competition between the clouds and here. And I got to fix the road and then do the trees. I may take the clouds back to gray-ish so that this stands out more, since I brought up the chroma, meaning the color of this. I really like that. And especially if we do our trees in the foreground almost black with just a little bit, like these highlight colors will be the edges of those, like it is now, I think, instead of this brown. Now you can see the brown when the blue is there, but I'll do them almost black. And then the clouds, I think if they're gray, then you get this feeling that you're being sucked into the focal point, which is what I want. I want that feeling of like you're being sucked into the mountains or drawn into the mountains. But I'm really enjoying working with this palette, these colors. Obviously that's not what the reference looks like, but I really like doing this kind of thing. I may have to play with this a little more. These undiluted color, diluting, for example, the blue with turquoise and a little bit of brown with the blue to create the greenish color, instead of using like a white or using other colors. I like the intense colors. So yeah, learn something new every day, and that's kind of what the goal was, to play around, which we did. We spent most of the time on the clouds, and those turned out kind of messy, but that was the fun, that was the intent, was to explore and see what we could learn. And I think that's a big part of creativity, like giving yourself a place to play around and not have to be perfect, and being okay with this looking kind of ridiculous, but then saying, oh, okay, I can ignore this because I really like this, or I really like this. And as this started working, then I got more and more excited. I was like, ooh, I really like the way this looks to my eye. And the more I do that, then I learn things too, as I, technique-wise or competence-wise. But most of us, once we get into school, we're graded for excellence, not necessarily progress. I mean, they call it progress reports, but really it's like you need to get better. When this kind of endeavor, or learning this way, if you give yourself the space to learn like this, it's like, oh, let me play around for 2 hours and see what I can learn, as opposed to I have to learn these objectives. I mean, I could do that, but it's so much less fun if I went, to an art school. And I shouldn't say less fun. There would be things I would learn, I'm sure, at an atelier or an art school that would greatly improve my ability. But I, at this stage of my life, enjoy this process. I enjoy playing around. And then especially when you get those things, it's like, ooh, that's cool. This is what I'm looking for. This kind of, like the way my brain is responding to this, I can't emphasize it enough how much I'm liking this. And so these are the things I'm wanting to experience, because this is going to start to give me a unique perspective or style. If I started painting my subjects with these kinds of dramatic contrasts and high chroma colors, high fidelity colors, very quickly you'd be able to look at this type of painting and say, oh, that's a Steve Rice, or that's Steve's style. And so that makes me really happy. I think I accomplished much more tonight than meets the eye, perhaps. And I'm just processing that out loud, so thank you for being here. All right, I'm going to bring y'all back to center right here. Let me get rid of my things there. Then I am going to turn this camera around so that you can, or I can say a proper good night to those of you that have stayed till the end. I know I went over. Next week we will be back here Monday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so I hope you'll join me again. Let me bring you back here. Okay. I love it. I love sharing. Thank you so much. Oh, I love it too. I see. Oh, that was previous. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that perspective. I like to share kind of what I'm learning, as well as I'm going to be probably putting my Facebook account, deactivating it, just because I am slowly trying to wean myself away from screens completely. First it was social media. Now I want to spend less and less time looking at screens. I saw an interview recently. A guy just released a book. He's not a scientist, but he did an experiment. I think he went 90 days or something without screens at all. And then they measured his brain function. And at the beginning, his recall was at the 50th percentile of, I guess, men his age. After no screens for 90 days, I think it was 90 days, his memory recall jumped to like the 95th percentile. And there were all these other additional benefits. And we all know screens are bad for us. But I don't think we have quantified how bad. So anyway, all that to say, I'm wanting to dive more into my creative process and my creative thinking, but I think I'm going to do that more through writing and email in kind of old school. And so less on social media. I'll continue to do this on YouTube every Monday. Just because I think there is value there and it keeps me consistent. But also I'm not looking at the screen when I'm painting, and my brain is getting creative stimulus a different way. So yeah, but if you have interest in my thoughts on creativity and what I'm learning creativity wise, let me know, because that's something I'm debating about doing, some sort of email correspondence or kind of summarizing some of my ideas around creativity as I process them. So I appreciate that feedback. Okay, let's look at this then. This is where we are. So the light is kind of bad, but look at it, looks pretty cool. If you take out the top part and you take out the bottom part, this part looks really cool, and that's what I'm going for. So if I correct this and I can get this correct, then I think it's going to be really, really neat. A really cool painting. So I'm trying to take these paintings that I have sitting in my studio and get them finished and get them out of the studio before I create new ones. All right, thank you so much for joining me, especially those of you who stayed late. If you want to stay connected to these, please make sure you jump over to YouTube and follow my account on YouTube, especially if you're family or personal friends on Facebook, since that account will soon be deactivated. I won't be going live on Facebook. If you want to periodically take a look at these, if you go to YouTube, even if you're not active on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel, and there's a bell icon on YouTube that you can set so that you'll get notifications if that's something that would be helpful to you, if you want to periodically check in. So please consider that, because I will be going live on Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, and YouTube going forward once I deactivate Facebook. So thanks so much for spending the evening with me. It's been a pleasure, so much fun, and we will be back here next Monday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I hope you all have a safe, warm week, and I'm looking forward to getting up into the 20s here. It will feel like a little bit of a warm leap after today, but it's winter. So I always say this is our down payment on summer when it's 85 degrees here and no humidity. So we have to put up with a few months of winter. But it's been a pleasure being with you this evening. I hope you have a great one, and I will see you next week. Take care. Have a good night, everybody.